Oh, we are live. Guys, I remembered my StreamYard code. I remembered the StreamYard password. Wait, let me share the link real quick. Man, I'm getting deja vus. It's been a minute since I've been on StreamYard. Let me check if we are live on both ends. Oh, we are so live. Okay. Copy a link. Da, 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 da. Boom. Everyone, we are live. Perfect. Let me check the chat real quick, guys. Natoshi Sakamoto, welcome, brother. Mr. GR, Frecuencia, M, Peter, What's Crypto, Aaron G, Mr. Double S, Mr. Pat just finished your video on Bitcoin dominance connection to the Soul Short. Yes, sir. It's gonna be I'm gonna briefly talk about it right here, but first I want to focus on more higher time frame activities. Mr. OG Knorr, Dan, Peter, what's up, guys? What's up? What's up? What's up? Are we feeling short or long? Hola, me llamo Brave. No, we're gonna talk about some higher time frame stuff, and then we're gonna dive it down into the lower time frames. And I have no water. Nice. I should have gotten some water. Well, then we're gonna do without the water. I hope everyone is doing good. Hope you guys have been productive today. We definitely had an interesting day right here in the crypto space, and I've been making some tweets here and there referring back to the market maker manipulation playbook, and kind of giving some thoughts here and there on my high time frame expectations, also in video format. I think I uploaded a video, like a 27-minute video last week, but I feel like, especially during these corrections, as aggressive as we saw today, which was expected based on just draws of liquidity, a live stream is well needed to put people in the right mental state and just have them overall ready for the moves ahead. Okay. So I hope all of you guys are doing good, and I hope this live stream can bring some peace of mind, because usually when you start tweeting here and there, you can kind of have like everything in a jokey way, with study this and that, which can maybe cause some FOMO or fear for some others. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go live, have everything cleared up, tell you guys what I am overall looking for, so you guys can be prepared as well. And then we're just gonna dive straight into it. So basically, what we have here on the higher time frame on Bitcoin is obviously the range that I have been having on my chart for the past months now, ever since the beginning of Jan, where we had the distributive price behavior up there, but it wasn't a complete distribution model the way we wanted to see it. And then we came back down, leaving loads of buy side liquidity above. We were accumulating down here, ended up creating a model 1 accumulation, not the highest probability model, but it was still an accumulation after all. And we were talking about a potential front run of high time frame key demand, which will act as a +1 confluence for a potential deviations at the highs, where the purpose of the move up is going to be distributive and not accumulative. And so far, we got a very fast move up, where the move up is not particularly supported by new buyers stepping into the market, but rather buy side liquidity getting swept. And from there, we put in that deviation, had this beautiful range formation here with like a total of 20 RR entry opportunities, with a distribution into an accumulation into a distribution that we shorted all the way back down to 100K. And basically, ever since that rejection down to 100K where we swept liquidity, that's where things have been a bit trickier. Okay. That is where things have definitely been a bit trickier because we had to move up, creating equal highs, building more buy side liquidity above. We came down, but then on the move down, on that local retracement back up again, we were yet again creating super obvious looking sell side liquidity lower. That's when I also stated, hey guys, I want to see lower before higher, just because we had very obvious liquidity resting below price right here, which as of now has been taken out besides the main low that created that pivot point. Well, we're building some other lows here using our primary market structure lows. And we also have more liquidity above because this move, it mitigated some supply, but there wasn't really anything that significant in here. That's why the move exactly from that high was also harder to predict. I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, I'm expecting exactly a rejection from there. We were just coming into some sort of resistance on an increase in Bitcoin dominance, as I explained in today's video. And therefore, if we get shorts, I am looking to take those shorts towards these high time frame sell side liquidity targets, which I'm going to dive into in a second, to then take that into potential high time frame accumulation models to take higher. It's basically wanting to go lower before going higher, not just from a preference standpoint. It's more from a perspective where that is what needed to happen in order to get significant moves towards the upside, right? You need to grab that fuel to have enough strength for a hard reversal. So we're going to dive deeper into that, but I just want to check real quick in the chat. Is my sound clear? Is the stream clear? I'm seeing screen resolution is low. It's supposed to be 1080, but maybe if your device doesn't support it, you're forced to go lower. But let me know if sound is clear, screen is clear, or if something needs to change. Sound is good. I'm on 1080. Is the screen good on everyone's end? No low resolution. I'm seeing good, good, good. Clear, clear, clear. Everything. G. Perfect. Perfect. Then I wouldn't know, Mr. Zbenza. Maybe kind of like try and refresh it. But basically, what happened here is we got to move up. And these are very ugly highs, right? I'm presenting the highs in the shape of a trend line right here, but they are also equal highs right there. So for the people that don't have a long time to watch, I'm going to make it very clear for you. If we're going to get a macro distribution, where as of now, we are still in the development of the second tap has not gotten any significant break of structures towards the downside, where with the second tap, I am referring to this being your tab 1 and that being your potential tab 2. We are still in the creation of that second tab. If price goes lower and you want to create a third tab, I am guaranteeing you that you will be taking out a new all-time high. If you're going to get a distribution model, it will be a model 1. If we go lower right here and we find support and we have our way back up, you are going to be taking out these equal highs. You're going to be deviating the all-time high, and you will have some third tap in here if you are intended to have a model 1 distribution. Okay. Now, that shouldn't be your main objective of this entire live stream, because I want you to be prepared for basically every single move. Okay. But first, I want to talk about my expectations on Bitcoin going forward. So, like I said, I was expecting this high time frame sell side liquidity to get taken, which we ended up doing right here, besides sweeping the main low as of now. Now, looking at this month of June, what we can see right here is that we have basically just been putting in a monthly low and a monthly high in the first 10 days of June. And ever since, we have been ranging in between. Now, from a statistical standpoint, there is like 100% guarantee that we will actually be moving outside of the current monthly range, meaning we will have a bigger expansion. So this total distance is going to get broken. So we're either breaking it towards the downside, where if we are breaking it towards the downside, there's a very high chance we will be visiting 98K as a minimum, or we're breaking towards the upside. And if you break towards the upside, the all-time high is also inevitable. Now, right here, it was a bit trickier. Okay, right there was a bit trickier because there wasn't really a very clear rejection POI, but at the same time, you were coming at the highs. And after all, you are approaching premium pricing in a range that is distributive in nature. So every time you come towards the high, you just have selling pressure pushing price lower. So now the fact that we actually got a break of structure right here, initially this morning, we SFP'd this market structure low right there. We SFP'd that market structure low, and I'm basically just referring to the market structure from this most local retracement back up, where if you follow the 6 candle rule, you are making higher lows and higher highs. Came into this resistance POI, which is right now, I think it was a 15-minute order block. Yeah, you can see that 15-minute order block right there. Got a low time frame break of structure, which resulted into a more aggressive move towards the downside. Got a deviation, but respected the supply and the market structure from top to bottom right there. So we have market structure from the low up. We also have market structure from top to bottom, making lower highs and lower lows. And this was a crucial point. This is where I told everyone this morning in the Discord that, hey, if we get a move up here and we create some sort of a distribution model, then we can be looking to short that distribution all the way back down to these sell side liquidity lows, which wasn't just normal sell side liquidity lows. Like, there were also weekend lows. So we can see these lows being put in on Saturday and Sunday, which is just full of weekend traders, which is literally the definition of retail, right? So those tend to get taken out. And unfortunately, we did not get the short opportunity up here because we never had any proper bearish break of structure until down here, but that wasn't really worth it from a risk to reward perspective. But from there, we did get that main break here, and we got the rotation back down. You don't have any proper distribution models at the highs, but overall, you can see a pretty decent topping structure just looking at the bars and the candle formation here at the highs, where if I delete these path tools, you can see that you are creating a nice topping structure right there, just looking at the bars, looking at the candles themselves and how they develop. But right now, we have just swept a lot of sell side liquidity, and that's why we're currently getting this expansion towards the upside, which is something I like to refer to as a liquidation bounce. Now, I got to be a bit more skeptical regarding calling something a liquidation bounce because initially speaking, this was also a liquidation bounce until it just fully reversed back up. So we're kind of in this environment where every time that we go down, we fail to break lower and we get a move and an expansion towards the upside where it's like, are we going to go lower? And was the purpose of the move to go lower also to actually go lower? Or was the purpose of the move to sweep this sell side liquidity to get that fuel to reverse back up? And right here, right, we swept that liquidity, got a reversal back up, came back down, again, took more liquidity. So here I was still kind of like, hey, the move down, the purpose of the move down could be to sweep liquidity to get the move up, just to fuel the expansion towards the upside. But then right here, when we got the signs of rejection, you're kind of like, again, sweeping liquidity. And now you're at this current location of 104.9K, where it's like every time we go towards the highs, we see a lot of selling pressure coming in, but you're also building liquidity now because you're building highs. But then that selling pressure so far hasn't been strong enough to push price into actual break of structure points. But then the pushes up haven't been sustainable to push it into an expansion. So you are really compressing here in price action, where technically speaking, you cannot, I at least cannot with 100% certainty confirm that you're going to break up or down. But based on the way this is developing and my overall preference is for price to just get a local bounce here. And given the fact that we had distributive price action up here and we have bearish break of structures and bearish market structure in this local retracement, I would expect to get some sort of a lower high for a lower low to take out all these lows right here. And then the moment we start taking this low, literally the moment we start taking this low, we can expect a deeper correction down towards 98K minimum. And if we can then finally start closing below these lows right here, which is currently your main market structure low, following the swing structure from low to high, that's doing something like this, with this being an unconfirmed high because it never touched the low. If it does something like that, that will establish this as a proper second tap. Okay, very good looking second tap. And then we can be looking for, some consolidation in this entire area. Wherever it wants to find its support, we will locate that and then look for accumulation models to form themselves, ranges to create, and then preferably take that to new all-time highs, where we will be looking for a macro third tap to short that back down all the way to like the range low. Like if we get something like that, then it doesn't have to be drawn or this is not really a timing standpoint right here. It's more from an overall price behavior standpoint, where you just get a move down, you consolidate for some time, you run it back up in the end of summer or maybe like Q3, Q4, and then you dump it lower. That's my preferred standpoint. Okay. That's my preference, where on this move down, I would want all my altcoins to sweep high time frame sell side liquidity. So far, we haven't swept all high time frame sell side on the most top 100 pairs. But if you get a move down like this, that will happen. And then if we get that consolidation here, that's when I would want to see altcoins accumulate and actually start outperforming Bitcoin on this expansion back up, where it's like a grand finale. Okay. That's my preference. Is that confirmed? No. Is that my expectation so far? Yes. Do we trade expectations? Partially, but mostly confirmations. Okay. And this is purely for Bitcoin. I want to make that very clear. This is not directly correlated to your altcoin. It's purely from a Bitcoin standpoint, where it's just that the purpose of this move up to me so far is distributive until proven otherwise. The invalidation for it will be just high time frame closes above 120K. If you get a high time frame close above 120K, I'll be looking for a continuation towards the upside, and I will make adjustments. But until we stay in this deviation limit, my bias remains the same. Now, on the other hand, I also released a video talking about all the total charts. These are still drawings from that video, talking about total 2, and total 3, where obviously total represents the top 125 projects, and then total 2 excluding Bitcoin, total 3 excluding Bitcoin and ETH. And this actually has a better looking chart than Bitcoin. Reason being is that this never made its way up to the range high, right? At least for now, to the market structure high. So what we simply have here is a break above the all-time high while following swing structure that's making higher lows and higher highs right here. Okay, higher lows and higher highs from the low up. Never had a proper distribution at the highs. You can see your structure from top to bottom. You always have 2 levels of structure, guys. Structures from the low up and structures from top to bottom. The structure from top to bottom is what I refer to as level 2. So you can see right here that level 1, breaker structure 1, that's trending up. From top to bottom, you have level 2 market structure, which got broken back to bullish right here. This breaker structure right here, okay, confirms a rotation back up to this high. So any price action after that breaker structure, either if you get something like this, your expectation is a higher low for a higher high to eventually complete the market structure continuation of your level 1 like this. So this has still room for upside, which will include Bitcoin because it's the total market cap. Okay. It's just that I think altcoins will be taking a bigger piece of that move up than Bitcoin itself. Now, hiding this for a second, let's observe the price action in here. Because as you can see, actually, let me put that back on for 1 second. As you can see, we are trying to trade now a higher low for a higher high following this red market structure pool. In order to confirm a higher low for a higher high, what do? Well, we do the exact same thing. The same way that we looked for a higher low and a higher high following our black market structure pool using the red one, we can now use this blue market structure pool again from top to bottom to confirm the higher low for the red one. 3 different levels of structure, guys. Mentorship, TCT mentorship. Lecture 1, high time frame, mid time frame, low time frame with the domino effect. So this break of structure, and this is what I also explained in my video update, this break of structure confirms a higher low rotation towards this high, since this break of structure already confirmed the rotation back up towards this high. The only thing is that I was identifying many altcoins in the top 100, and I just saw a lot of liquidity still resting below. And a very common phenomenon in this trading space regarding break of structures is that you'll sometimes get a fake break of structure to create a higher time frame range. Meaning you can get a blue break of structure where everyone will be longing the break of structure right here. Guess where these people will be putting their stop loss? Obviously, they are not trading the exact total chart, but it represents the altcoins that most people are investing in and are trading. Well, the people that are long a normal break of structure from a swing perspective usually put their stop loss below this pivot point. And that's why those first break of structures can be vulnerable for fake breaks to what? Create higher time frame ranges where you end up sweeping that low. And now we're talking about the top 1, a top 2, and a potential top 3. So you'll see it very often where a break of structure like that can be the starting point of your accumulative range, since the context of the overall chart is bullish, since this break of structure confirms a rotation back up to around 3.7 trillion. So I am expecting higher prices on the total chart. What I would just preferably want to happen is to take that low. And we still also have some demand lower right here. Let me clean this up. We still also have some demand lower. So we don't need to mitigate that demand because you have a pretty aggressive inefficiency right there. But just doing something like this, where we sweep it and then we go up and create some sort of a third tap, that's all that I'm looking for. This will give me the best opportunities in the market from a leverage trading perspective. Should you be waiting for something like this to happen from a spot trading perspective? No, because from a spot trading perspective, you should have already been positioned right here when I was screaming at the top of my lungs to enter certain projects and positions, one of them being SUI. But right now, right, let's say you're not positioned and altcoins are low, I'm expecting a move back up to that high right there, which obviously Bitcoin will take some share, but we're going to dive into total 2 and total 3 as well. So I'm going to see how this will be correlating, but this is basically what I meant regarding high time frame sell side liquidity. Now you have many different individual altcoin pairs, all kind of developing in their own unique way, but having the same overall idea, which kind of just gets represented in the chart on the total chart because it represents all those altcoins. So that's basically all that I want, right? And the fact that we're basically leaving these lows intact right here, 1, 2, and 3, and we're building those lows is giving me an indication like, hey, man, we can actually take that out, right? We can take that out. Do we need to come back down all the way to here? No. But if we can take that out, we can accumulate. And this right here, guys, I want you to listen closely to me. If we get something like this, I told you plenty of times, do your research on your altcoins. I've shared them all inside the Discord, but do your research on your altcoins that have those high time frame key demand levels 10, 20, 30% below current market price. That if we get these moves down, we can be creating these high time frame TCT accumulation models. You can make more money in a single well-timed and well-executed trade with a very refined system like TCT than your entire spot back on that run up. Because we're talking about RR, right? Not just percentual gains, but actual RR, which can go up into crazy high levels if we get exactly what we want to see. From a spot trading perspective, you can just scale into discount and sell at a premium, which most people do wrong because they never sell, okay? But that's basically the total chart right here. And the total 2, total 3 are giving us the exact same kind of like idea. The only thing This is an old drawing, actually. The only thing is that we have some resistance. Okay, we have some resistance above us. It's a supply zone. It's nothing too major, but it is still there. And we actually have more distance to travel towards the upside. Right? We have more distance to travel towards the upside. Why? Okay, right. Because this is excluding Bitcoin. And then which altcoin is the altcoin that takes up the biggest market share besides Bitcoin? That's going to be your favorite coin of the cycle, ETH. It's going to be your favorite coin of the cycle. So the fact that we have a breaker structure right here is telling me that we're going to get a rotation back up towards this high, where this also hasn't even made a new all-time high yet. Now, again, this breaker structure on the level 3, right, this can indicate a fake break to create these high time frame ranges, where you can see right here, this will be your high time frame range, where if we can sweep this, we can start accumulating for a 1, for a 2, for a 3 that can deliver that expansion towards a new all-time high, which can deliver crazy opportunities if you are aware of it. Okay, you need to be aware of it. You need to be prepared. But it's the exact same story with one extra addition. We have more room for upside, indicating that ETH has more room for upside than Bitcoin if we get our confirmations from the accumulation standpoint. And then total 3 is the same story as total 2. The only difference is that we already made a new all-time high. And that's because you have many different pairs getting very explosive moves within this cycle, with XRP pumping 500%, Doge pumping 500%, which also take up a lot of market share. And you had just an overall push on more kind of like these top 100 coins that moved just like 300-400% during Q4 2024. But it's basically the same story where, you can get this fake level 3 breaker structure to create these higher time frame ranges right here to accumulate and go higher. Now, worst case scenario, I want to add this, okay? I want to add this. Right now, what I have done, okay? Right now, what I have done is I have showcased a range creation where your breaker structure level 3 was a fake break. In the worst case scenario, what we're going to get is a fake level 2 breaker structure, where this goes down all the way to here to create high time frame accumulations like that, and then go higher, which on the total 3 chart will indicate 20% corrections, where if you look at certain higher time or higher cap altcoins, that is on the table. Okay, that is on the table. But I would expect an overall accumulation. It's not confirmed yet. It's an expectation. But just the way that this has been developing, it's a pretty clean chart. So worst case scenario is that we get a breaker structure, a fake break on the level 2 scale, and we get a move down to this low again to create high time frame ranges from here that can be accumulating, where we'll have a beautiful liquidity curve. And this, guys, oh my God, this will deliver massive opportunities. You will get another spike like this. And if you are watching the right pairs, you're going to get those XRP moves, right? We were watching XRP back in October that pumped 500%. You had Doge pumping like crazy. Like, if you're watching the right projects with the cleanest charts, getting a similar move are life-changing opportunities. So it's basically worst case scenario, getting a fake break on the level 2 scale to get a higher time frame accumulation. Best case scenario is a fake break on the level 3 scale right here to get an accumulation to then go higher. The total 2 chart looks the cleanest. Okay, the total 2 chart looks the cleanest. Basically because this hasn't even made a new all-time high yet. That's why I'm like, it's mainly referring to ETH. Combine these total charts. So we have Bitcoin right here, okay, where, in my opinion, the purpose of the move up is going to be distributive, and Bitcoin is not going to be putting in anything that significantly anymore from a performance standpoint. Then we have total 2, total 3, all indicating some more upside, but potentially more accumulative behaviors prior to getting that upside, which will fuel the upside if we get it. Combine that with Bitcoin dominance, And now you kind of have like your 3 horses to watch to confirm proper, or to add proper confluences to your altcoin's performance, where this chart has basically just been grinding up this entire cycle, literally ever since we left the bottom back in 2022, right? This has just been on a grind up. And you can see here, we swept partial buy-side liquidity, which is where that second tap started. That's where I initially started to look for PO3 schematics, where we have this range creation right here, where this was the range right there. This was the range. This was the manipulation. And then this was supposed to be the expansion, where I was expecting right here, I was expecting a bounce up. I just wasn't expecting the bounce to be this long in duration. So I was expecting a move up from here, and I wanted to see something like this, but it has just been getting dragged out, where we can clearly see signs of exhaustion, where we're taking the highs over and over again. You just need, you just need a breakout structure. That's all you need to wait for. Don't get excited about any price action in here. You need this 18-hour, you need this market low to get broken back to bearish. If you break that back to bearish right here, that will confirm on the back test, that will confirm a rotation back down to this range low, which will be at 60%. If we can break the range low from there, that's when 47% is in play. That's when you're entering the final stage of the cycle. Altcoin outperformance, get some percentual gains on your backs and get out. Get out. If you get 47% on Bitcoin dominance, that's my get the fuck out trigger. But right here, we are distributing. We just don't have the confirmation yet. This is a lower time frame market structure low that you can be watching, but this is the primary focus. That market structure low there, using the domino effect, this can confirm a rotation back down to this, where you break your 4-hour, confirm the rotation back down to the 18-hour, but you need to break that 18-hour. I've had too many breaker structures right here, literally all failing on the lower time frame and just going higher. You just need a main break. You need a main break. If we get the moves down in the worst case scenario, like I just described on totals, right? If we get that move down to create those higher time frame accumulations, to sweep all that high time frame sell side liquidity on your altcoins, that will mean you'll get another 20% drop on alts, most likely. Between 10 and 20 to 30%, depending on the altcoin that you're holding. If that happens, this could potentially spike back up, because usually when pairs are dropping, Bitcoin dominance is rising, because Bitcoin drops less than altcoins, or altcoins drop harder than Bitcoin. If that happens, this could be tapping into a Model 1. If you get a breaker structure from there, that's going to be your high. That's literally going to be your high. That's my best case scenario. Get a Model 1 right there in combination with those high time frame accumulations, and we're going to be chilling. We're going to be hella chilling. This is all from a leverage trading perspective. Spot, on the other hand, should have been scaled in at the lows consistently. And I am still holding my personal spot, and will just be looking to add if I see confirmations on these high time frame accumulations. If I'm wrong, I'll simply probably take a 20 to 30% drawdown on these initial positions and then, invalidate them from there. But coming back to Bitcoin, my preference is to go lower here. Take out these lows, go lower, find support into this region, maybe bounce from there, but there is like a 90% probability of price coming actually to 95 if we start to take out this low. And if we go to 95, then, we are already down here. Find our ranging environment in here, build more volume in the upper section. Build more volume in the upper section, where you can clearly see there is just a void right there in volume, where preferably spend some time here, build more volume, so the volume profile kind of starts looking like this a bit. It can still have 2 peaks, but just this needs to be filled up a bit more. That will cause this volume area low to move up as well, probably at the equilibrium or a bit more. From there, if we keep this liquidity, that would be nice because we can target that later on. If we see our bullish confirmations in here, right, where we get an accumulation model and we're ready to run it back up, that's when we run it back up into this DL region right there, where we will be looking for eventually just like high time frame shorts to take them back down to bear market lows. Where preferably this right here, right, in this move down, that's when I want all my high time frame sell side liquidity to get swept on altcoins, where they find the bottom against Bitcoin, they accumulate, and they outperform on this move up. Okay, they outperform right here. That's what I would prefer. And obviously, these moves up will have ranges in between. It won't be exactly like this, but that's kind of how I'm playing it. And then just, you know, have Bitcoin dominance dropping, have Bitcoin being at the highs, cashing out on spot, and then trying to leverage short it all the way back down. That's my main plan. That is not just the plan I came up with right now. That has been the plan that we have pre-planned and I've publicly shared on my profile ever since March 8th. I want you guys to understand that, okay? I released the market maker manipulation playbook March 8th. That is 3.5 months ago. So far, with all due respect, it has given you the most accurate Bitcoin analysis out there, where we literally talk about front running 72K and getting a rotation back up to the all-time high. Now, I was wrong on the altcoin outperformance because I preferably wanted to see an altcoin outperformance on this initial move up. Did not happen. Bitcoin still moved solo, okay? Bitcoin still moved solo, unfortunately. But that is just what happened, okay? But from a spot trading perspective, it still put us in a very comfortable position. And from a leverage trading perspective, it offered us 30 plus RR opportunities of swing longs I am currently still in, okay? I'm telling you, if you can just have a few pairs that you're observing super closely that have super high probability TCT models building up, which I promise you, there are some models building up, okay? You need to be aware of them. One single well-timed, well-executed trade can recover all your spot back losses and make you even more profits. Take that advice from me. So that's kind of my main plan, looking at the altcoins as a whole, or not even the altcoins, just as the crypto market as a whole. We're going to dive into some altcoins individually. I'm going to stick to the higher volume pairs, guys. I'm not going to do crazy low caps. But I kind of want to showcase you why lost my train of thought there. But I wanted to showcase you where my stance is at in the market. And then I'm going to showcase you how it looks like on these individual charts so you can kind of get a better picture as to what I'm referring to with all this high time frame sell side liquidity talk. Okay. But I'm checking the chat right now. I think we got Sol 145. We're going to check Sol as well. We're going to check ETH first, then Sol, and then we'll do some more. What's your opinion of Market Cypher and Crypto Phase? Crypto Phase is an absolute legend. He uses his indicator Market Cypher. I have used it in the past. I did not manage to make that shit work, but that's just me, right? It's probably my fault and not the indicator's fault. But in my opinion, if you can learn market structure, if you can learn the actual reason why these markets move the way that they move, which I have explained to you all in a TCT mentorship that you can find on YouTube for free, you won't even want to use any external indicators because it will just be an information overload and it's not necessary. Is Solana still in an extra high probability environment? I'm going to talk about Solana. I'm going to look at Doge as well. Those are all the majors. Yeah. Checking in. Okay, perfect. So is the Bitcoin plan clear? Is the total crypto market update plan clear? 1 in the chat if it's clear. 2 in the chat if it's super duper clear. Yeah. If someone sends a 3, you're banned. I'm telling you right now, if someone sends a 3, you're banned. 22222. Okay, yes, sir, you're banned. Yes is banned. RIP in the chat. Okay, amazing, guys, amazing. So let's start off with let's start off with ETH right here. I think we have to start off with ETH. So let's keep it macro to micro again, okay? And we're gonna go faster through these individual pairs. Basically, my TA on ETH has simply been the fact that we were compressing for a long time, which also allowed us to take that amazing short back in January, literally right there. Oh my God. If I only knew, guys, I thought 3K was the max sell side liquidity target. I had my profit target right there as my max. If I knew we were going to go to 1400, bro, that would have been still crazy. But we have basically been compressing here, where we deviated outside of that compression, came back inside, got the bearish PO3, and now, again, we deviated the low, front ran high time frame key demand, and came back inside with the bullish break of structure. Now, I have released multiple videos on ETH as well, where we kind of have like two structural environments, where right here, you can see that from top to bottom, we still have high time frame downwards structure right here, making a lower high for a lower low. And this could still technically be a lower high for a lower low. That's just the TA, right? I'm not selling you any dreams, but that's just a TA on the weekly time frame. We can make that one. Now, if we go on like a 3-day, you can see that we actually got that bullish break of structure right there. And therefore, expectational order flow would be higher low for a higher high. And these are the two main market structure pools that are currently fighting each other, where it's like, okay, we can get a weekly lower high for a lower low, and we can get a 3-day to 5-day higher low for the higher high. What are we going to get? Now, again, what you simply do is very simple. You observe the structure between this high and wherever the low is going to be. In order to get from point A to point B, you need to go down. When you go down, you have downward structure because you don't go down in one single vertical candle. So what you do is you observe that structure from point A to point B. If that breaks back to bullish, you're going to get a higher low for a higher high. If that never breaks back to bullish and you just continue down, well, you're going to just follow the lower high for the lower low on the weekly. It's really that simple. You don't need to predict it. You just need to react. Now, my expectation goes towards a higher low for the higher high, where I want to see a market maker continuation model. Now, what exactly is that market maker continuation model? It basically means that you are creating a distribution. A market maker continuation is when you are in a bullish environment. So in this case, the environment is a bit sketchier than usual, but usually it's when you're in a bullish environment and you have like a super good looking POI right here, and you are expecting a higher low for a higher high. What will happen is you will get a distribution model right here, okay? And it will be a pretty high probability distribution model where price will complete the distribution and just fully reverse back up. Why is that? Well, it's because you were in a bullish higher time frame environment where the purpose of this distribution is just to sweep all this sell side liquidity, which fuels the reversal towards the upside. See it as a liquidity grab. You grab the liquidity before you continue towards the overall expectational order flow direction, which is higher lows and higher highs, which is up. So you get a distribution where the purpose of the distribution is to sweep all sell side liquidity to get a continuation higher. Now, the way that you can trade that is by trading the distribution just as you would trade any distribution. And then the moment you sweep that low and you break structure back to bullish inside the range, doesn't have to be a 3-tab model, just a sweep of that range coming into support POI and a bullish break of structure. That's going to be enough for you where you can go risk on with your stop loss below the low. But very important, I only take that long purely on the break of structure if I made profits on the short. So that way I'm hedging, right? Or at least I'm just only risking some profits from the short. If I don't have any positions open, I'm not entering on an individual breakup structure. I want to make that very clear. But translating that into this chart, you can see we have a Model 1 distribution. Now, you don't have like direct POIs below this range low because this is a bit too deep in my opinion, but you do have a nice sell side liquidity target right there where you can see we kind of got a super aggressive expansion towards the upside right there in this blue highlighted area. And ever since literally ever since that low, we have just been grinding up. Like we were leaving all these lows, building more lows here, building lows here, building lows here, building a lot of lows. And then you can see we're making our way back down to what I told you guys this morning that we're going to go down, right? This is that sell side liquidity target. So like we just said, the purpose of the distribution is to sweep sell side liquidity to fuel the reversal towards the upside. I really like this POI right here for that to take place, 2,260-ish. The reason being is that we would sweep all sell side liquidity. Let's say we get that move down. We'll complete the Model 1 distribution. We'll sweep all sell side liquidity. But mainly, most people are watching right here that breakup structure level as kind of like their support or their resistance into support flip, their SR flip for a higher low for the higher high. No one is really watching a reversal after sweeping this liquidity right here, which is the obvious liquidity target. So for me, it's really like an environment where a lot of people will get left behind because they're looking for a higher low in here. And then hopefully the move down is super aggressive. So they're extra fearful when price is coming down, causing them to switch biases and not be in that clear mental state of mind to actually act upon that aggressive selling pressure. Where then if we reverse, they will only start to catch on the reversal when we're back up there. And that's when they FOMO in and they fuel our move towards the upside. You know, where then from there, we can just see higher prices where we do have plenty of resistance levels in here. But this will be my preferred standpoint. And initially, I made a post about the market maker continuation model from a level or from a Model 2 distribution perspective, where I was looking for something like this, where you get a move up right there, get that move down, and then do something like that. That just didn't happen. We just ranged for a bit longer with some internal rotations before getting the Model 1 that is currently dumping us down. But I am expecting price to come towards this range low. This as a minimum right there. And then from there, I want to see these range lows get taken. Now, it is ETH, so I got to be a bit more cautious with ETH since you never know what ETH might do. Like last time we had a proper distribution model was right there where you got the 1, you got the 2, you got the 3, and you never made your way back down to the range low. Like you front ran it like 3 times, like 1 time, 2 times, and 3 times. And then you pumped higher. So ETH is always a bit sketchy regarding distribution models, also just accumulation models, both, just TCT model, just Wyckoff. But I am just trading the charts either way. So again, it will be a move down before higher, which is in line with Bitcoin, move down before higher. Altcoins, total, move down before higher. Starting to get the hint right there, huh? Now, checking Sol right here. Sol is at a crucial point, okay? Sol is at a crucial point because if we apply the Sol chart, basically, quick recap for the people that are watching this chart for the first time. We had a Model 1 distribution. We absolutely nailed that Model 1 distribution from an expectational standpoint with that deviation of the all-time high, getting that reversal back down. I missed my leverage entry. Yes, unfortunately, I missed that leverage entry. It still hurts me sometimes. But you did get the move down right here, and we deviated the range low, broke structure back to bullish. So could that kind of be like a continuation model? Technically, yes, right? Get the distribution for the continuation higher, sweep it, break structure back inside. However, the context here is not particularly that bullish. Obviously, you're trending up from the bear market low, but you just deviate your all-time high. So you kind of have to give it some slack. But we are at a very crucial point right there where we front ran 3-day demands. So you can see right here, you have your 3-day order block creating the other 3-day order block, which creates a demand chain where your first block creates your second block. Your second block usually has the best expansions once you tap into that. And you also had those equal lows. So you missed high time frame key demand. So I'm not sure if that deviation has enough strength to put in a full reversal, if you're going to get that in the first place. Where I told you just now, if we get the worst case scenario on your total charts, it's where your level 2 breaker structure is going to have that fake break. And that would cause this to turn into a range right here, where you can expect deeper retracements like this of another 36% to start high time frame accumulation models like this, to then get a more aggressive squeeze towards the upside. That's in the worst case scenario, okay? If we're going to get a higher low right here, if we're going to get a higher low with the breaker structure, you need to put that higher low in right here. Literally in this current range, this is where you would need a higher low. And we do have a potential high probability accumulation model developing right here, okay? Unfortunately, we're front run that supply right there, which is super bad. But what we have right here is basically that potential extra high probability model where you have your initial range low, have the initial range high, this super weak supply because it's nothing but liquidity on the lower time frame. Got that deviation too. Right here, you can call this a low time frame third tap, but it has no proper time displacement. You have a lot of resistance above you. I would never trade something like that, okay? But it created this 1 hour right here. It created this 1 hour order block right in that pivot point, where you can see that this order block right here was already, from an accumulation standpoint, was already accumulative price behavior because it swept the extreme liquidity from the second tap right there, making it a super nice POI. So if we get a slow move in here, leaving a lot of buy-side liquidity above us, right? If we get a slow move in there, that could be A1, A2, A3, where we can get a refined entry on the breaker structure and run that all the way back up to there, or potentially even higher following the high time frame structure. The only problem here is that, man, it would have been way better if you mitigate that supply. And at the same time, you don't really want to see a move back up, mitigating supply, and then a move back down. Like, it can happen, but you have to keep in mind that you preferably don't want the time displacement between tab 1 and 2 to be less than the time displacement between tab 2 and tab 3. Meaning, if you measure the distance between the two, it's around 7 days. And if you calculate 7 days onward from here, you would kind of have literally till Friday. So if you get something like this, you would need to have a proper pullback on Friday, where from there we can look for these accumulation models that I will 100% be trading if we get something like this. If we just get a move down here, I am not that confident because it's one of the only pairs that will be creating accumulation models. You still have the supply above there, which is actually part of like a triple supply chain, because this 45-minute block created that 45-minute block, created that supply zone, right? This is where you got that short. Like, if you're short from here, which you should be, personally, I did not manage to enter because, one, I got front ran on my limit, but two, it happened without me being active behind charts. That was like the biggest reason. But some people took it. Lots of people also took SUI, which is amazing to see. But if you get something like this, I will be trading that third tap, but you kind of have till Friday. If you go into the weekend and you kind of start ranging, and it's taking too long, then we'll probably have to view this as like a market structure continuation, and then maybe look at this as a potential new range right here that we can watch for accumulation models. And if you start closing below here and you don't confirm any accumulations, that's when I'm expecting that worst case scenario to play out, to come all the way back down to $95. So it's either an accumulation in this area, or we start breaking down. Worst case scenario plays out where this was the fake break and not that, and then we actually go lower. Mr. Balve, what would be the trade management on the Sol trade? Just 1% risk. It depends. If you get something like this and Bitcoin is looking good, it's curling around, you have Bitcoin dominance, confluence, USDT is looking like a distribution, then maybe 2%. But just normal risk management, and the trade management is just like the way you always are supposed to manage a trade. Nothing special about it. Trill when you get the chance. Otherwise, don't, and just let the trade do its thing. So you can see how Solana right here is like a great representation of the total charts, where it's like, okay, either this is your fake break and you accumulate in here, or you don't get an accumulation, you close below here, and then this is probably your fake break and you accumulate in here. That's basically what Sol is representing here, what also your total charts were representing. So that's Sol in combination with ETH, and we have literally, surprise, surprise, the exact same on Doge. Like the exact same. You either create a range in here, and you're going to continue with a higher low for a higher high with that break, or you're breaking down from this and you will be coming down towards this low, which is my preference actually on Doge, because we front ran high time frame demand here. Okay, we got high time frame demand there. I would love for that to get taken out. If you take that out, that could make for amazing high probability accumulation models, guys. If you get something like this, I'm telling you, you will you want to trade this with me. Okay, I don't really hype up trades. I am more the trader that says, like, one individual trade is not going to make you rich. What's going to make you rich is building those correct trading habits that will allow you to consistently execute, and that consistent execution with those good trading habits, that is what will compound those monthly profit goals over and over again, that will actually give you financial freedom. But if you get something like this, you bet your ass that I'll be on the buttons and the whole TCT community is going to be eating, because this is going to be a SUI 2.0 if we get something like this, but then even bigger size probably. So if we get something like this, you want to know, you want to be aware. I'm telling you that for sure, because that in combination with the timing and the Bitcoin dominance, it could be pretty nuts. But again, it's a similar situation where moves down I'm seeing and viewing as manipulation. The question is, are we going to accumulate in here? Which right now we're in our very early stages. We don't know yet, right? This is basically nothing. Let me make that red. Are we going to accumulate in here? If we want to trade that accumulation, you would need to see a move back up and then a slow move back down, creating proper liquidity above you, and then get a bounce. And we can trade that as a 1, a 2, and a 3, where you would have to be vulnerable for this to not like die off and still go for that. That's always a possibility. We've seen that plenty of times where the accumulation did not mitigate key levels and therefore wasn't sustainable, just completed the model and just died off again. Doge was an amazing example of that. Oh, we're on Doge. I totally forgot. But the long that we took, that I publicly shared with all of you guys right there, you know, amazing 20 RR long opportunity. But afterwards, it deviated the high, which is the target, but it just died off. Now, we could have seen that coming by the way we were building up this liquidity, because it was super slow, right? The longer it takes for you to get to your target, the more liquidity you are building below. And then the moment you take that high, you are switching liquidity games, because now buy-side liquidity is getting taken and sell-side liquidity is getting left behind. But it's the same right here on Doge on a high time frame. Where it's like you're either going to get an accumulation here, it's going to deliver a higher low for the higher high, or you're going to eventually die off, come to this lower level, and this break of structure was your fake break for this high time frame range. If you get that high time frame range, oh my lord, it's going to be every TCT trader's dream if you get something like this. I'm telling you right now, it will be a trader's dream. And then you can see here on WIF. WIF was kind of like my main. For some reason, I don't chart WIF that often, but it has been having very clean price behavior. And the fact that we were leaving behind all this liquidity, this is what gave me the most conviction into lower prices. The fact that we were building all this liquidity below and we were going up higher right there, I was like, if you want to have a move towards the upside, you need to mitigate the green box. You need to sweep that liquidity, mitigate key demand right there, which is basically just overlapping structure demand, and just create an accumulation from here, you know? So there are some pairs that have swept high time frame liquidity, but not all pairs, okay? I have a whole list. This is just my main crypto trading pair list where WIF did it. Pepe also mitigated high time frame demand, swept high time frame liquidity. Sol hasn't yet, Doge also not really. Farcoin also not really. Sui already did. And XRP hasn't, where I think we all know that I'm watching for this on XRP. I have been pre-planning this for like 2 months now, it feels like. But you can see that most pairs still have the liquidity while others already grabbed it. But therefore, if we can get that move down on Bitcoin, that will cause all pairs to be taking out those lows, which is necessary. Popcat is the similar example. It already grabbed that liquidity, right? Where we can clearly see some signs of exhaustion coming into the low, get this high time frame structure demand, took out all these lows right there. And this could be creating a high time frame accumulation model. Where someone just asked me, why do you have home on the chart? It's because, man, I shared this trade right here. I was looking at this Model 1 distribution, but I needed to see a refined entry because it was in the weekend. I needed to see this refined entry because the breaker structure was only like 1.7 RR. And then during Asia, you delivered a perfect TCT and TCT model, netting you around 10 RR towards the range low, but I was asleep. But I was looking to take that distribution into a potential accumulation right here. I have no idea what this pair is. I'm just seeing it on my Bybit chart. So I'm like, let me just chart it. And this could be your high time frame range right here. Where again, that high time frame sell side liquidity I was talking about is resting right below it. So if we can get if we can get some moves towards the upside, and then later on come back down for that liquidity and get like a Model 1 accumulation with a 1, a 2, and a 3, right? I can long this back up to this right there. Because you kind of have like your perpetual contract launch straight into a sell off, which is a Model 1 distribution, dump back down. And then after, those 50+% corrections, this could correct way deeper. If you don't get an accumulation here, this could be one of those pairs that just like, you think like, oh, how deep can it go? And it just continues to go deeper, But that's what I'm looking at here on home. That's why it was actually on my chart. CRV also swept high time frame sell side liquidity right there. So there are some pairs which are prepared. Hype still has a lot of room to go towards the downside. There are some pairs that did sweep liquidity. Caspa also at demand already, but many pairs still got some work to do. Let me check the chat real quick. I'm not a bot. Bot attack. Oh my God. Ha ha ha. Look at the black guy. What? Yo. I know how to deal with these bots. Just leave the bots. Leave the bots. Let them enjoy the TCT show. But I'm scanning for some comments prior to that. What's the lowest time frame you trade your models on, Lars? It's not actually from a time frame perspective, but more from a range duration perspective, because models can be valid on multiple time frames. Applying the 6 candle rule, it's more like, okay, from the starting point of my range, right? From the starting point of my range until this third tap gets confirmed, what is the time duration between the starting point and that model getting confirmed? That's where I have my high probability variables, which will be explained in or at least high probability requirements, which will be explained in the advanced TCT mentorship, which will be coming sooner than you think. But that's what I focus on mostly to determine if the size is good enough to be trading. Mr. Balva, I meant how much percentage would you leave as a runner after hitting the target on that low time frame distribution we had? How much would you leave running after hitting the target of the distribution? Oh, I don't remember the distribution. I thought I was talking about an accumulation though on Sol. But if I took the distribution on Sol, I would take like a 70% take profit, leave 30% open, and hedge that 30% into a long if I get the confirmations. Let's go over like super low time frame on Sol. I already made a video today talking about how you could have traded Sol. Right now, I'm not seeing a whole lot that I'm interested in trading. Are you planning to release any educational content in text format? No, it's going to be in video format. If you want to make it a text format, that's got to be up to you. So plan is to look for swing shorts. Oh my God. Plan is to look for swing shorts. Please tell me that was a joke. On God, tell me that was a joke. My brain just froze, bro. My brain just froze. The thing is, I don't think the comment was sarcastic. Oh my God. Yo, Douglas, I love you, but you need to listen. You need to listen to what I said, okay? Just rewind the stream and then reflect back on that question, okay? No hate, just like you got to reflect back on the stream and then reflect back on the question and you will get the answer. What is the best scenario for Bitcoin? In the beginning of the stream, we went over all the scenarios. But if you want a quick recap, I want, in a very generalized manner, I want this, 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 this. Super generalized, okay? Super generalized, but that's what I would prefer. Wondering if the local range on Andy is confirmed. Oh my God, I haven't tried Andy in a minute. Okay, check best case scenario. Oh, I said best case scenario, but it's Bitcoin Cash 4-hour potential distribution. I can check. Andy. I haven't checked Andy in a minute. 4-hour potential distribution model. Oh, I remember telling you not to take this trade. Remember? I don't know. I think I told someone to not take that distribution trade, or I would not take it unless I got like a redistribution. But maybe you get this as a new range. Like if markets are gonna rotate a bit lower, then who knows, you might be getting something like this. This is something you could be keeping on your radar. Overall, from a context perspective, it's not really like crazy special. You actually are in a high time frame uptrend, sweeping liquidity, breaking structure back to bullish, but there's also not a whole lot. So you can watch this for sure, but you would just need your high probability variables. So you would want price to go down, preferably mitigate the demand right there, and then get a move up for a third tap, and then get something like that. Look for swing shorts into 93. Am I dumb? Well, I told you two things. I said you're either going to accumulate here. Or you're going to break lower and accumulate from there. So I don't know where you would think a swing short is suitable in that narrative. Could you get a short that ends up being a swinger? Yes. Should that be your focus? No. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, where did you hear me even say the word swing short? I've just been talking about accumulation on the high time frame or a lower time frame. Your short opportunity was right here, brother. I explained that on my X today. We were looking at that in the Discord. Chicken nugget. Yo, chicken nugget. Is this the chicken nugget that I know? Bro, it must be the chicken nugget that I know. Yo, how you doing, bro? I don't know if it's the chicken, bro. Who else? His name is Chicken Nugget. Well, let me know in the chat, bro. It's been a minute. I saw Chicken Nugget and I was like, oh my god. Bitcoin did grab extreme liquidity in my eyes at 110,281. To me, it really didn't because it's equal highs. So you have to take it out for me to consider it extreme liquidity. But also, let's say it did take it out. It is too narrow. It's simply too narrow from a time displacement standpoint, right? Where the distance between tab 2 and tab 3 is too close compared to tab 1 and tab 2 right there. So that's why either way, I would like a move to take those out, fix them, and then go back down. Any way I can join the VIP group by paying Binance USDT? We have a crypto payment option on the website, brother. If you just go to the website, the link is in the description, and you click on, if you scroll down, I don't know. Wait, let me check exactly where it is actually. Join, choose your plan here. If you prefer to pay using crypto, click there. So you can just pay with crypto right there. It's not even that. I'm getting a new website, okay? It was already live, but then I had to put it offline again because they fucked something up, right? Welcome to the names or the worlds of the developers. Do you think we will get a mini alt run like we did November, December 2024? Yes. That's exactly what I was talking about with the high time frame sell side liquidity sweeps, the outperformance of Bitcoin or of altcoins in that move up on Bitcoin. It's been explained in the beginning of the stream. Can you chart We Love narrative coins, your favorite ones? Hell nah. Check zero, bro. People have been asking me every single day to chart this, but I already charted it. But I don't think it was that special. Like, I had this. Like, you guys just see that return to zone and get hella obsessed, huh? But like, I know it doesn't have to do it. It can be something like this, but it's just I don't know, man. To me, it's not even like that good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, okay, maybe you have this range right there, but I would need the confluence of the majors. So maybe send an alert at these equal lows. I don't know. It's not that I've been seeing. And like, if you get TCT and TCT here, I'll be like, okay, maybe it's decent, but I haven't really seen anything like that, like crazy. Just a range, a high time frame demand mitigation. I think we can refine this down. Right there. Look at that. Look at that structure demand right there. Let me quickly scan this because I gotta be missing something. Otherwise, you guys won't be spamming me with zero, bro. I don't even know what the fuck this project is, bro. Sometimes you guys are making me chart stuff, and I'm like, what on earth is this? But yeah, it's either you're going to get like TCT and TCT here, in my opinion, where you have your 1, you have your 2, and you wait for TCT and TCT right there to get some sort of a move like this, move up, move like that, and then go higher, right? Where you just get your 1, your 2, and your 3 with the curve like that. We can revert that, boom, invert it. That's your distribution play. That could be nice. Or you're taking that high once more and you probably have a Model 1 distribution. Or you're creating a whole new range. But that's basically what I would be watching. Now I would want to see a very high probability TCT and TCT model right here if I want to be touching it. I know based on expectation order flow, we are expecting a Model 1 distribution on Bitcoin. Well, it's not confirmed. Like I cannot. Yeah. Okay, let me read it. But if we deviate and close above 120, do you think we continue going higher? I think if you have high time frame closes above 120, then yeah, you are gonna squeeze back up higher. Pass my step one of my first eval prop evaluation, waiting for high probability setups. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. All credits to you. I know you might be learning from us, but you are putting in that work. Can you check silver? Oh, not right now, brother. I'm keeping it crypto focused. I should introduce you to my brother. He's a developer from Bot. You know what I love about having a community? I know so many people doing so many things that I always have a connection. It's insane. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like, oh, my brother's a developer there. Oh, I made fucking millions gambling. Oh, I make 20K a month with like fucking faces, YouTube vids. It's like there's so much variety. It's insane. I love it. I love the community. It's the future of the past. It's the future, but inverted. I knew it, bro. I knew it. I knew it. But guys, we have 1,800 viewers at the moment. I want to make it very clear. It is my purpose in here to make and open your mind to the idea of trading. Trading is something that's extremely hard and extremely difficult, and you need to have a lot of discipline and a lot of patience, and it's going to suck, but it's the most rewarding thing ever. Most importantly, it is possible. I'm showcasing you again and again and again these 3-tab models that I'm trading consistently that allow me to literally predict Bitcoin's price action literally almost to the dollar 3.5 months ago until now. So it's not only going to improve your actual trading where you can actually have consistent cash flow, it will also help you with your spot investments, with your swing trades, all that stuff, options, you name it. If you can analyze the charts, if you can do technical analysis, you can make money in these financial markets. You don't even have to be a trader. You can be just a swing trader, right? Intraday trader, investor. But as we can see, this cycle is the biggest confirmation that you need to have a skill, technical analysis skill. And there is literally no more effective way of analyzing the charts than with the market structure rules, the range rules, and the Wyckoff rules that I've elaborated on in the TCT Mentorship 2024. You need to be studying that Mentorship 2024 right now if you haven't already, because I'm releasing a Mentorship 2025. Is going to outperform 2024, and it will be an advanced continuation. So you need to catch up, because if you have 2024 and 2025 not watched, you're going to be in for a shock. So you need to be and understand 2024. You can find it either on the website, literally, but it will send you just to my YouTube right here. It will send you to the YouTube. It's on my YouTube channel right here. You can see it. Boom. Composer Trader. Go to the playlist section right there. TCT Mentorship 2024. You can see here 9 lectures. We start with an introduction to TradingView, bro. Introduction to TradingView, market structure, ranges, supply and demand, liquidity, TCT models, advanced TCT models, risk management, PO3 schematics, and trade execution. And don't you dare skip the risk management lecture, you dipshit. The risk management lecture has the least amount of views. You motherfuckers. People give 0 fucks about the risk management lecture, but it's the most important. Okay? It's the most important. But you need to get your ass on this. There have been thousands of people using this mentorship, and it's changed their game of trading. And it's there for free for you to watch. That is because when I'm live trading in the server, I want people to understand what I'm doing. So you watch the mentorship, and then if you want to trade live with the person that taught you all this stuff, then you join, right? If you are stuck with the mentorship and you don't understand it, then you can also join, because we do have educational classes and all that stuff. But preferably, I would want you to watch this. It's there for free. If you are chilling on the couch listening to me right now, oh, okay, we're back. If you are chilling on the couch, not making consistent money in these markets, and you haven't watched this, I want you to think of me. Every single time that you are chilling, I want you to think of me working. I want you to know that this mentorship is out there for you to watch, because it needs to be like scratching your brain where you're like, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. Okay. So every single time that you are chilling right now without having watched that mentorship in depth, twice, 3 times if necessary, you start thinking of me. Okay? You see this face. You start thinking of me every time that you are chilling now without having watched that mentorship. This is going to pop up in that brain. It's going to pop up in that brain. So get your ass on this mentorship, because I need you to improve, because we need to all be fucking making money, because these market makers are making and taking too much money from retail. Okay? We got to fight back. Okay? So, again, if you haven't watched it, I think it's pretty clear what you need to do. Okay? I have logged into my StreamYard again. I kind of forgot about StreamYard as a whole, but live streaming on X and YouTube is pretty chill, because lots of people don't want to hop over to YouTube, so we can reach a bigger audience doing both, since we have like 1,900 viewers right now versus like 150 on YouTube. But last question, do you make considerable RR in the bear market? Bro, you make just as much money in the bear market as in the bull market. It's just the same. It's the same as a bull market, but just things are going down, but we're just shorting all of it down, right? So don't worry, we're going to be chilling. Yeah, I use it for stocks. I don't really trade stocks, but it works on stocks. It works on Forex just as good. It's just the way the market moves. So if there's a market maker, which every market has, you will see your TCT models. Okay? So, as Crypto420 said, invest in yourself and stop being a tight ass and join the Discord. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. But I appreciate all of you guys for watching. If you're listening to me right now, like, you are already a unique person, because not many people will actually be able to hear me talk ever. So they won't be even getting that information and getting that knowledge. So please take that to your advantage. Okay? It's always the smaller accounts that you will find on X that deliver the highest value, because the highest value is usually boring. It's not really engaging. If I make a 10-minute video talking about the correlation between Bitcoin dominance and sold distributions when Bitcoin is pumping, nobody wants to fucking watch that shit besides actual traders. You know what I mean? People will jump over here like, hey, your portfolio is going to 20x. Believe me. Don't worry about this local rejection. Don't worry about being trapped again in another 30% drawdown on your spot portfolio because you believe people that were talking about the breakout, when every smart money concept trader that is literally has any basic understanding of fucking breakouts is that 99% of the time it's a fake out and only 1% of the time you get a breakout. So them calling for a breakout is causing you to get trapped 99% of the time, and then you're jobless and homeless and cashless before you even get the breakout, and you don't have any money to benefit off of it. Oh, sorry, I needed to get that off my chest. That is the name of the game, though. That is the name of the game, though. Ready to leave the station. The people that know this quote know how much money we made on that Doge short. Come on now. Okay? Aaron G, mentorship changed my life. Guys, get your ass on the mentorship. I'm going to have some... Yeah, I'm going to have my last meal right now. Charts are pre-planned. Ideas are pre-planned. Total market update has been done. Everybody should rewatch this, take notes, see what I'm looking at, because I won't be going live every single day publicly. You can find me every single day inside of the TCT Discord server. Again, if you join the TCT Discord server, first watch the mentorship. Okay, just watch it. Have an understanding. Otherwise, I'm going to be answering hella unnecessary questions. And I love every single one of you. We got an amazing community. We're fucking taking over. And if you know, you know, regarding some altcoin pairs that have crazy high probability models developing. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. Okay, guys. I'm going to see you all. Peace out. Enjoy your night. Tomorrow, there's another beautiful, blessed day. Ciao, ciao.